Okay, welcome to Introduction to Project Management Knowledge Areas. My name is James Faniyi, and I work with CLC Concept Training Company Limited. I want to appreciate every one of you who have registered for this training, and I do hope that you get the values that you have registered for. So, in this class, I'll be uh, running with you Introduction to project management knowledge area, and it's very important for us to actually explain what project management is to the level of understanding the project management knowledge areas before we could actually be discussing the knowledge areas in project management. Let me first mention this that this training on project management is actually tailored in line with Project Management Institute body of knowledge. That's the 7th edition, which is actually the latest edition. So let's begin. When you hear of the word project, what comes to your mind? So what is a project to you? According to PMI, a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. And it is very important for us to look at the keywords in this definition. The first keyword in that definition is the word temporary. So when we say a project is actually temporary, we are talking about a project having a definite beginning and also having a definite end. That is, no project, okay, will exist as a project unless we could attach a time to start it and a particular time that we hope to actually end it. So we already have at the back of our mind, or we already have in plan the time that this project should actually elapse, the time duration for this particular project. So when you look at this definition in line with what many people do say, when you meet people, they talk about having this project, working on that project and everything. But the question is, when you ask them, okay, when are you planning to start? Oh, I just know that I will do it. I don't know when I'm starting. When are you planning that you should be done with this project? Oh, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I just believe that, yes, it's something achievable. Of course, it is a very good start to begin with, but we can't call that a project. We can only call it a wish. Anything that is called a project, any endeavor whatsoever that you want to undertake, that you want to be called a project, must have a definite beginning, must have a definite end. It must really have a time frame, like a duration of when it's going to be. Now, another thing that is worthy of being mentioned here is that when we say a project is temporary, this does not mean that a project is necessarily a short-term project. We must know that a project could be either a long-term or a short-term, meaning you can have a project that may even take you days, you can have project that will take you months, and you can have project that will take you like 15 years, 20 years. It doesn't matter. The word temporary there doesn't mean that it is short or long. It only simply means that what? For you to say you want to have a project done, that you call a project must have a time you have what? Planned to start it, and must have a time that you have planned to actually end it. You already have the time schedule of such that you have as a project. Another thing that we should actually note in the definition is that a project is being carried out to give a unique product or service, or we can actually say a project is being created to give a unique output. When we say unique in this sense, means that every project has a value that you want to achieve by carrying it out. There is no project absolutely, okay, that shouldn't what? Have a value that is going to offer, okay? So, and that value is actually going to be a unique one, a specific one. Every project must have a specific purpose for which you want to do it. The project could be that you want to create a new product in your company. The project could be that you want to recruit new staff. The project could actually be that you want to venture into another line of service. The project could be that you want to have another branch of your company elsewhere. Okay, in fact, you want to improve the process. You want to change the process of your production. Okay, you want to explore another method of manufacturing other than the one that you are using now. So that is what a project should actually be. It should have a unique, product that we want to bring out of it, or a unique service that we want to bring out of it as an output. So when you think about a project, think about an endeavor, okay, that has a time to start with, a time that will end it, and that has a unique purpose, a unique value that it wants to give to you as perhaps the project owner or the project manager. So it is very important that we note this definition. So that definition can help us to now break down the characteristics of what? A project. So we talk about the characteristics of a project, okay? From what we have actually stated in the definition, we can say that the characteristics of a project is that a project has a specific purpose. It creates a specific result. I've mentioned that. It has a definite start and finish date. Okay. A project also should be such that you can progressively elaborate it when you gather more information about it. Let me explain that. Sometimes when you want to establish a company, let's say a project is that you want to establish a company, you are starting up your company with maybe production of soap. Okay. In the future, okay, your vision and your mission could be such that can also accommodate different from production of soap, that you are also venturing into another production of another product. Okay, so a project could be such that you may in the future elaborate. It might be that we are starting with let's say this small size of this product. Our product now is being packaged in a small bottle or in a small container. In the future, if our clients are asking for their demand is for higher quantity, like this quantity is so small, can you be making it available for us in 50 kg rather than in 5 kg that you have been bagging it? So we can also extend it and say, okay, fine, it will not be in various sizes. We're going to have 5 kg, 20 kg, 50 kg. So you can elaborate it. In 2012, 2011, 2012, okay, I was still working with Dangote Obajana. That's Dangote cement plant in Obajana, Kogi State. And that was the time that, they were actually Dangote was building the third line of cement production. As at that time, when I joined them in 2010, the line of production that we have, there were just 2 line of production. That is, there is a line, okay, this one line of production and the second line of production. So it was just 2 lines of production that we have, that you can start from the raw mill, having the materials, the limestones and the rest, down to where you will produce cement. So a line of production and another line of production, making 2 lines of production. But in 2011, 2012, okay, Dangote started building third line of production. That is a project. A project should be such that in the future you can elaborate it. You can add to it. You can make it bigger. You may build a website now, and that website can only do display of your products. That is, people only go there to see the kind of product that you have. In the future, you may begin to think that, oh, we now have a larger base of customers. How do we expand this website in such a way that our clients can make order? They can actually order for what they want on our website, just like Jumia. Okay, and then you call programmer. What they have to do is just increase their programming and everything, and make sure that They'll be able to connect it with the product and all the normal thing to be done in coding. And then your website, which used to be just a static website before that would display products, now your client can interact with it, click on a particular product, make an order, place an order, and what? Have a time that is going to be delivered to them. That is an elaboration of a project. So a project should be such that you can elaborate like that. When you begin to gather more information, sometimes you may not have all the information about a project from the start. As you progress, you begin to actually what? Gather more information. That can happen even in research making, okay? That you begin to what? Have more information, and then you can expand or elaborate the project, okay? So that's another characteristic of a project. And we should know when we are talking about a project, it can either be carried out by a single person. We can have a group of people coming together to carry out a project. We can have a single organizational unit that is just a company, carrying out a project. And we can have companies teaming up together like a multiple organizational unit, just to carry out a particular project. We have such even in companies where you have electrical department, mechanical department, automation coming together just to work on a particular project that the company is working on. Because electrical has a role to play, mechanical has a role to play, and also automation has a role to play. You may have a project that will only be simply electrical. You may have a project that will be only, mechanical departments. So I'm just talking about even in an organization, you can have what? Different departments coming together to work on a particular what? Project. So these are characteristics of what? A project according to the definition, and that's the elaboration. Now, let's look at what project. I've mentioned some examples of projects, okay? If you have to mention examples of projects, a project could be, just, developing a new product or service, as we have mentioned, okay? Oh, I'm into, baking before, but right now I want to move into event planning, okay? So it might just be that, okay, you are extending your line of what? Service, okay? That may be that you want to develop a new product or a new service. A project could be effecting a change in the structure, staffing, or style of an organization. I've made that as an example before. If you want to actually recruit new staff, that is a project. Developing or acquiring a new or modifying, the information system. You may actually want to modify your information system. You may want to change, the kind of, software that you use in doing your job. That may be a project for you. You may want to change what? The system of what? Doing things, maybe in your company. That can actually what? Be a project. You may want to improve on the communication among the staff, okay? When I was, I still remember my first time of using a CUG, CUG SIM then was when I was working with Dangote. They have this SIM that, they actually specially, acquired those numbers from service providers, and they give it to staff such that we can easily call ourselves free. Okay, the company make, that package with what? The service provider, and must have what? Done their financial commitment. Anybody, in as much that person is a staff of the company that has a SIM to himself, you can call his SIM, free of charge without being charged. Okay, so that your own may be that you want to do something like that to improve communication, among the staff. It is a project, because definitely it's going to follow, the knowledge area of you having a project done. Okay, it's going to follow some processes, which are project management what? Processes that, you will need to actually what? Carry out before that project could actually be a success. Okay, a project could be constructing a building or infrastructure. It could be implementing a new business process. I've made mention of that as an example, or procedure. All these are examples of projects. A project could even be as small as you, trying to paint your room. Painting your room is also a project, because even if you don't give it time, if there is no time frame, you can be willing to paint your room even for a year, and you do not get it done. There will be procrastination. So these are examples of projects. So let's remember again. Let's recap. What is a project? A project is any temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. Now let's come to what project management is. Now that we understand what a project is, what can we now say project management is? Then when we are talking about project management, we are now referring to the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements. We are talking about the skills that are needed now to manage a project. That is project management. We are talking about application of some set of skills, some set of knowledge, some set of tools and techniques that you may need to apply to all the activities you want to carry out in the course of the project so that you can meet the project requirements. What are those project requirements that you may want to meet? You don't want to exceed the budget, that's the project budget. You don't want to exceed the project time frame. You don't want to exceed or go below the project scope. If a client is giving you a project to build 3-bedroom flats, it's going to be a crime suable, okay, if you build just 2-bedroom flats. That means that what? You have gone below the scope. Scope of a project is actually the size of the project. It's actually the feature of the project. What a project, that's the content of what the project is all about. So if no client will want you to actually what? Go below, okay? And some clients may not even, appreciate you what? Going above what they have actually what? Agreed that you should actually what? Work on as a project. So all that we want to guide in applying these knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities is to ensure that we work within the project budget, we work with the project time frame, and we work with the project scope. It is very important. Now, according to PMI, okay, we have 49 logically grouped processes that a project could actually follow. In other words, in project management, we have 49 project management processes. One thing you must note about these processes is that they are not necessarily such that you only you do simultaneously, like this after this after that. They are not like you are saying process one, okay, when you're done with process one, move to process two, move to process. No, they are just possible processes that we know that irrespective of the kind of project that you are working on, those projects would either go through what, any, or all of these 49 processes. Okay, it does not necessarily mean that every project must go through all the whole of 49. No, we are only saying that whatever may be the kind of project you are working on, okay, if there will be any processes you will go through, those processes will be among these 49. It could be possible that you work on a project, you only make use of the 48 processes there. Based on the nature of the project, it could be that you only use 45 out of the processes there. But what we are saying is that whatever the process that you need, you will definitely find it within these 49 processes, according to PMI. Okay. Now, another thing you must note is that these processes that we have does not mean that each of them will be carried out once. It is possible that there is a process that you may have to repeat even 5 times before you finish. Let me give you an example. Let's say you want to cook, okay? You want to prepare a meal, and you now want to list out the processes you will go through. Now, one of the processes that you may go through is that you are going to wash the dishes, okay? You are going to do the dishes. Maybe you wash your pots, you rinse your spoon and everything. You just listed that. Now, the question is that how many times do you think that you will have to rinse or use water to rinse the pots before you finish cooking? Okay. Yes, we have put it there that you are going to wash the pots, but you will see that washing the pots is just a process. It does not necessarily mean that you are going to wash that pot even just once. Depending on how you care so much about your hygiene, some people, once they actually boil maybe the vegetable in the pot and they turn it maybe to any sieve that they want to use to sieve it, they will take what to the pot, to the wash and the basin. They will take it there, rinse it before they can use it for another thing. Once they dip the spoon inside the what the soup, some people they will have to what put it under running water again to rinse it. So you can't count the number of times, you know, somebody may have to what rinse when it's cooking. Exactly in these processes that we have in project management, you may not be able to decide how many times, you know, one of these 49 processes will be carried out before the project completion. So they are just 49, you know, processes. They are there for us to know that, you know, whatever may be the nature of the project that you are carrying out, they will go through, you know, these 49 processes. But that doesn't mean that what every project must go through 49. That doesn't mean that what each of the projects must be carried out once. I just hope that what you get that explanation. So now these 49 logically what, you know, grouped project management processes are grouped into 5 process groups. That is, we have what 5 groups, okay, where we have these 49 processes being distributed. Okay, so according to, you know, their state in the stages of the project. So they are logically grouped according to their stage, or according to how we may apply them, or how we may what use them, or how the project may go through them in the course of carrying out a project. Okay, so we have 5 process groups, and these 5 process groups have these what 49 processes being logically what grouped under them. So let's look at the 5 process groups. What are these 5 process groups? The first process group is initiating process group, followed by planning process group. Let me be explaining the way I'm stating it. What do we mean by initiating process group? We are talking about all project management processes that we need, okay, or that a project may have to go through in the course of initiating a project. When you are initiating a project, to initiate means to start. When you are starting a project, there are processes that you must actually what carry out. For example, okay, we have what we call project charter, that, you know, without you acquiring the project charter, you may not know who the project manager is. You may not even get yourself familiarized with what, who are the project team members. You may not even be able to identify what the project stakeholders. So project charter is very important when you are initiating a project. And the process by which you are going to produce your project charter, of course, since it is what under, you know, the process group of what initiating a project, of course, you expect those processes out of 49 processes that are needed to initiate a project to be under this group. So we have initiating process group that is meant for what, that contains processes that are needed to be carried out when initiating a project. Planning process group, we also have to plan, make plans. There are plans to make in carrying out a project. And in making plans, there are processes to follow. So in following these processes, we want to look at what are those processes needed for us to carry out in planning a project. And that is why what those processes will be grouped under what planning process group. After we have made plans, we also need to execute the plan so that we can create what the project, or we can actually what work the project to completion. So those processes that are needed for us to execute the plan that we have made are the one that we group under what execution process group. Okay, after we must have executed in project management, it is also very important for us to, you know, carry out some review. We cannot just assume that what we have executed is correct. Of course, we have a predetermined feature of the project we want to create, just like somebody who wants to, you know, cook Indomie. When you are done, cooking the Indomie, it is by tasting it, you will know that, oh, have I cooked Indomie or I've cooked rubbish? So after the execution of, plans, we have to check now. We have to monitor. That is what we actually guarantee the quality control. So monitoring and controlling is just like a quality control process by which we check if what we have produced is in line with what we have planned to produce. So it is what we have produced versus what we have planned to produce. So monitoring and controlling will show us. And there are processes for us to actually follow in monitoring what we have executed, in controlling what we have executed. Controlling means that if after monitoring it, after we have carried out the review, we now see that, oh, this thing did not meet up with the standard, then we can actually take it back and then make the necessary correction and execute those correction on it, bring it back again when we have monitored it again, and then we see that, okay, now it is good to go. Then we come to closing process group. Every project needed to be closed after completion. Part of closing a project is dissolving the project team. In most organizations, people that already have their functional duties may be withdrawn from their functional department to come and work on a particular project. You may be in the electrical department, and because a project is coming up, they may tell your manager that, oh, loan us this particular staff to come and work on this project. When the project is done, what do we do? Now that the project is done, no more project activities, then you have to go back to your functional unit, and then we dissolve the project team. It's part of closing. Handing over the project that, oh, we are done, commissioning it is part of closing. Okay, if we have another project and we just want to officially say to this staff that, okay, fine, we are done with this particular project and we want to reassign those project team to another project, it is still part of closing. So there are processes that are needed to be carried out in order for us to close the project. So these 5 logically created groups, they contain the whole of the 49 processes. If you want to count the processes that you have under them in terms of their identity, like that is, if what you have is wash plates, rinse the plates, fill the gas, you may not really determine how many times you fill the gas, but you will definitely see that okay, one of the activities is that gas will be filled, pots will be washed, the utensils will be rinsed, and then you have them like that. Now we are now grouping them. Which one comes under the initiating, we group them. Which one comes under the planning, we group them. Which one comes under the executing, we group them. Which one comes under monitoring and controlling, we group them. Which one comes under closing, we group them. These are the 5 process groups that contain the 49 project management processes. Now let's move on. Now that we have explained the process groups, now it is now very important for us to explain the knowledge area. Okay, in order to successfully carry out a project, okay, as a project manager must actually be well grounded in these 10 areas of management. And we call them knowledge area because they are the areas of project activities that need a proper management. There will be integration of the various plans that we have made in the course of carrying out the project. Integration simply means that you are bringing things in pieces, you are bringing it together to form a whole picture. Integration could be that somebody give you a puzzle, I don't know if you have seen such before, a puzzle of a lion, but they have scattered the diagram. They now say that bring the diagram together, just play it as a puzzle to form the picture of that lion. That is integration. That's what it means to integrate. So we have project integration management. first knowledge area of project management. Now, after that, we also have what we call scope management. A project manager should be such that can manage the scope of the project we have given unto him. What do we mean by that? Of course, you wouldn't want to give a fashion designer to sew cloth for you and you say, oh, my specification is that what? I want long sleeves. How will you feel if the person actually what? Give you what? Short sleeves. Of course, you will not be happy as the project owner. What happens when the person give you excessive, sleeves in your clothes? That even when you go to party, you want to eat, before your hand actually enter the soup, your clothes is already what? Entering into it. You wouldn't still be happy. So every project must be within the scope of the requirements. So we have, a project manager should be such that can manage the scope of a project. A project manager should be able to manage the time frame of the project. That is project time management. A project manager should be such that can work within the budget of the project. We wouldn't want to say, okay, this project will take us 10 million naira, and then, of course, it is a plus when you spend less, but it's going to be a lot of, trouble if you are now requesting for another additional money to the budget that has been specified earlier. So a project manager there needs the knowledge to manage project cost. What about the project quality? Okay, you could build a 3-bedroom flat. What about the durability? Okay, how do you mix the cement with the measure of sand and everything to really show that this house can actually stand for many years? How solid is the foundation if you must actually raise if the building is actually story building? So we are also concerned with the quality. But one thing you must note is that if the cost, the time, and the scope are well managed, definitely the quality of the project may be guaranteed. What about the human resource? A project manager should be able to actually have good team members who have the required skills. You wouldn't want to give the work of an electrician to a carpenter within your project activities. That is going to actually bring the project down. So you must be such that can manage the human resource in getting the right people and using them rightly for the success of the project. What about project communication? A project manager should actually be such that can manage the project communication properly. Communication within the project team members, communication to the stakeholders, communication even to people that are stakeholders on the project, either people that are actually sponsoring the project, either the unit or department sponsoring the project, or even its project team members. What about the risk management? There is no project that does not have a level of risk. So a project manager should have the knowledge needed to manage the risk, should have the knowledge needed for procurement of all the materials needed to carry out the project, and must be such who can communicate effectively, manage effectively the stakeholders of the project. These are the 10 knowledge areas of project management. And it is very important for you to actually understand that as someone who is aspiring to be a project manager, or someone who is already practicing as a project manager or project management, personnel, these 10 knowledge areas are actually required to manage a project effectively. So I'm going to be stopping here, and in the next video, we'll be looking at any of these knowledge areas that we really want to talk about, that we want to train on. So we take them one by one. We have trainings on project integration management. We have trainings on project scope management. We have trainings on project time management. And whichever one we want to take out of these 10, we can now critically look at them. That is what we'll be talking about, the processes, involved for us to manage them well, processes involved in managing projects, in project integration management, processes involved in project scope management, processes involved in project time management. And you may not even have to struggle understanding these things. Okay, for you to actually understand a project, you have to integrate. Okay, you have to know the size of a project, that's the scope. You have to be able to know how long it will take you, that's project time management. You have to really manage what the quality of the project. It's not just only the size. What about the quality? If you are building the website, will it crash tomorrow? What about the security? What about the SSL? Okay, and all these. So you have to talk about what the quality of the project. What about the how? What are you doing about the hosting? If 500 people are accessing your website at the same time, will it crash and all this? So the quality comes into play. Okay, and project human resource management also must be there. Project communication management, project risk management, project procurement management, and project stakeholder management. So I want to appreciate you once again for signing up for this training. See you in the next video. Bye for now.